Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 22 of the In From Japan podcast, the podcast where we talk about the latest news on Japan-developed games and other things in relation to them. Now on Spotify, Podbean, and YouTube. Jason, my co-host, I'm your host, Erroll, so I guess I should... Still not used to that. But Jason, my co-host, he is actually, unfortunately, out sick, so hopefully he'll be back next week. But... Now, today we have a special guest, Cameron Hawkins of Dualshockers, the champ.
How's it going?
It's going.
I mean, it's going. It's going.
Yeah.
It's definitely going.
So we're gonna start, like we usually do, with what we've been playing lately, and since, I think I might go first real quick, since I actually have a lot less to say than usual. So I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV, well, more Final Fantasy XIV, and I just got to the Heavensward expansion because it was my birthday the other day, and my friend was like, "Hey, I'll get you a pass to skip the
post game,
the post game in the Realm Reborn because it's really boring."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm a level 50 paladin, and you're having me like fetch like apples, or not. This is not literally, but like it's just stuff like that, and it's just like,
yeah. Hey, do all these hard raids and stuff like that as well.
Oh yeah, the Moogle King, yeah. Oh my god. So I've been playing most of that. I've been trying to get into Xenoblade Definitive Edition, but every time I play, I only play for like 10 minutes, and then I go do something else. So I'm not.
Like, is it just like you just get busy, or you just?
No, it's just
not clicking with you.
I think I just want to go back and play Final Fantasy XIV.
I mean, I can't blame you on that end. Final Fantasy XIV is fantastic.
It might be the best MMO I've played ever.
It is definitely the best MMO that's out right now, for sure.
Because I was in and out on way back in the day. I was like, I guess RuneScape was my first one.
Yeah, I tried RuneScape a couple of times, and I just couldn't get into it. I don't know.
And then I tried a bunch of different ones, Maple Story and
Mm-hmm.
Ragnarok and World of Warcraft a few separate times. That was the one I got the most into, but like never as into as like, not as into as this. I was not level 50 and all that. But yeah, it's great. I just wish because like I still have a backlog to take care of, and it's just like, why did I do this to myself? You start a pandemic starts and you're on lockdown or quarantine or whatever. I'm gonna get stuff done through my backlog, and then your backlog just keeps getting bigger. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what have you been playing?
I've been playing Persona 5 Royal. I'm like at the. I don't want to go into spoilers, so I'll just say that I'm at the 5th palace. I just finished the 5th palace. I'm about to send the calling card.
That's not spoilers though, right? Because that was in the original, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, some people haven't played the original, and I think that Persona 5 is recent enough that I still would want to. I would still want to. Not know, I feel like it's still recent enough where I wouldn't want to be spoiled, or like it's like, it's not like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, I don't care if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII before. That game came out in 1997. If you get spoiled by now, like, tough,
I mean, do you know how many memes are made for Final Fantasy VII? Like, even if you weren't planning on playing the game ever, you probably got spoiled somewhere on the internet at some point.
Yeah, because so Brendan Groom over past the controller, he never got spoiled on Final Fantasy VII, and he beat it right after the remake, so he didn't know about the big death that happens.
Oh.
And it was funny, too, because he was messaging our, like, spoiler cast group as he was playing. He was like, please don't tell me that this character dies, because I really like this character. And I'm like, we were just like, homie.
How to bite your tongue there? Like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, what was that? Oh, when you were streaming Persona 5 yesterday,
mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, they need to remake like several Persona games with the Persona 5 engine.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because like when the dance games came out, everyone was like, okay, they have the HD Persona 3 models now.
Exactly. So that's exactly how I felt. I wrote I knew it wasn't going to be announced at E3 because like Atlas doesn't announce stuff at E3. But I was just like, please announce a Persona 3 remake, because there is, like, they made the models. There's no way.
It's going to be I can't remember if they're doing a digital event or if they just outright canceled the whole thing, but that sounds like it could be like a Tokyo Game Show announcement.
Yeah, and then there's also Anime Expo in a few weeks.
That's true. And there's Digital Anime Expo, which, did I put that news story in here? Because there is an Anime Expo related news story. I thought I did.
What was it about the world that ends with you?
The world ends with you.
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck? It's not. I accidentally took that out.
Well, I mean, we can talk about. That's the first thing we can talk about once we get to it. We won't forget.
Yeah. I won't forget that. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm playing through Persona Royal, and I would like to get it done by like within 2 weeks' time, but I know I'm not gonna. So we'll see, because I've just been really busy this week, and then I'm also reviewing a game that I'm going to be doing over the weekend. So hopefully by like Monday I can get back to playing Persona, and because I was really busy this week, and it's starting to hit, like the fatigue is starting to hit me. So I'm considering requesting a week off from work, and then if I do get it, I'm just gonna play Persona all week. That's like all I'm gonna do, and try and beat it.
Because that's the problem, right? Especially when you're like us and you make like a video game related content. It's like okay, you have to, like, it's a balancing act, but also like I haven't been writing as much as I would like to, or playing video games as much as I would like to, but I've been focusing a lot of my energy on this podcast, and it's like, this podcast is only once a week, and like, you know, it's not, but like I've been putting a lot more energy into it than other things, because I don't know, I'm like stuck not knowing what to write about. So I'm like, oh, I should finish some games, but then I try to finish one game, but then I start playing another game. It's like, oh my god, what am I doing?
Yeah, totally. And also, speaking of Xenoblade, like, I haven't played Xenoblade 1 before, but I should get the collector's edition. I got the UK collector's edition because I wanted that vinyl really bad. That should be coming in, like, hopefully any day now. Should be sometime next week, actually. And then I'm going to play through that because I really, really liked Xenoblade 2. Like, that's probably, before Tokyo Mirage Sessions came out, that was probably my favorite Switch game. So, yeah, I really like Xenoblade 2.
I'm not the biggest fan of 2. I mean, I haven't really played it, but from what I've seen of 2, it's just kind of like not really for me that much, it seems.
See, that's interesting to me because the gameplay is very MMO-y.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's, well, because I felt like Xenoblade Chronicles 1, what I've played of so far is the same. Is that just like the whole series is very MMO?
At least in the first two. I don't know about, I don't know much at all about Xenoblade X. I don't know.
It needs a Switch port.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I would totally get it for sure at this point. But yeah, I'm really excited to jump in because I know that there are those group of people that stand that game like that it's one of the greatest games ever made, and so I am really curious as to what it's all about, and it will give me reason to replay through Xenoblade 2 because there's very much bits near the end of the game that I honestly had no idea what was going on. You know, like, the rest of the story I really liked, but there was just these certain revelations that you knew, like, just based off how it was directed, was supposed to be a revelation, and I had no idea. And my buddies that, like, are big Xenoblade fans, you know, he was just like, yeah, once you play Xenoblade and you play 2 again, you're gonna be pretty mind blown. And so I'm excited to play through Xenoblade, and then I'm excited to replay through Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because it gives me a reason to play through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I need to look into that.
Yeah, I definitely have my issues with Xenoblade 2. Like, it definitely needed more polish. graphically, specifically, and the voiceover in that game is absolutely terrible. But
it's weird because like Xenoblade 1, from what I've heard so far, is good.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. Because they just kind of, because Xenoblade Chronicles, I don't know the full story behind it, but I feel like that game was barely localized. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And and I remember.
And they made
3 Wii games.
Yeah, and they made like Nintendo of Europe deal with the localization for everywhere outside of Japan. So then that's why there's a bunch of British voice actors, like Jenna Louise Coleman, who was on Doctor Who. Like she was one of the characters in the original before she became really big. And I actually found out recently that she actually came back.
Yeah.
For her role in the Future Connected epilogue thing. So that's really cool. I'm glad that she came back, and I really hope. I don't know. I feel like the next Xenoblade game, if it is like mainline, it'll be a thing somehow where Shulk and Rex are together, like they team up, like the whole squad. But I'm also curious as to how they would make a sequel like that with different gameplay mechanics.
Isn't it also different time periods? Right? Or no? I don't know.
Actually, I think you might be right. I think it is like much farther in the future in 2. I honestly don't remember, so I don't want to speak more on it because I don't want to just say blatantly wrong things. But regardless, I'm really excited for both of those games, or to play Xenoblade for the first time and to replay Xenoblade 2. So it'll probably take me like a year to do both because there's too many games. But
too many games always.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't put anything on our next section, the J list, where we talk about movies and TV news related to video games, but a lot of anime that was delayed because of the pandemic is airing again, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and then didn't Attack on Titan the final season get a trailer?
Yeah, I was thinking more of Pokemon and Digimon specifically.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that Attack on Titan got a final season trailer.
I still need to watch season 3, but I've watched the first 2 seasons.
I don't know if I've watched the first 2 seasons or just the first season. I can't remember. I just kind of fell off of it.
The first season's fantastic, but the second season is just really weird. Like, like maybe not even half of the season focuses on Eren at all. Yeah, it's like a bunch of different other characters that I really don't care about. But apparently season 3 is really good because it focuses on like Eren and Levi, so that's cool. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch season 3 soon, and I'm looking forward to watching the final season.
So it's good that stuff is getting back on track, even though we haven't, figured out all this pandemic stuff quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if Japan has there's a news thing about that later, but they have like a method for it that seems, decent. Better than we have here, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next we're going to go to recommended content. I actually just changed the name of this section because it made more sense. It used to be called recommended reading, watching, and listening list, but I'm like, I could just put content.
That's way too long.
Yeah, and I've been doing this for like 20 episodes, and we didn't even realize we could just I don't... Because it was originally recommended reading, but then I changed it to reading, watching, and listening because it wasn't just written articles, and I was like, okay, recommended content.
Mm-hmm.
So this is content from the past week that people should read, and the first thing is your page on DualShockers.
Oh yeah, I write for DualShockers.com, and we have a really passionate staff of writers. We have a lot of our writers focus on specific things. Like I really like to write a lot of editorials, and we have someone who focuses like specifically on like Japanese heavy news, like not just like the mainstream Japanese news, but like you know, the hardcore Japanese fandom news there. You know, and then we have, you know, our go-to news people, and so it's really cool that you can kind of do what you want there as long as you have something. You know, like for me personally, speaking for myself, like as long as I have something that I want to write about editorial-wise, I don't have to really write a lot of news unless I, you know. So, like, you know, like this week, specifically, I'm releasing 2 editorials for the week. Like that's all my writing that I need to do for the week. So
that's awesome.
So it's really cool that there's that flexibility there.
I mean, I mainly was doing news writing before, and I actually almost got a news writing position like a month or so ago, but because of certain laws here in California that happened more recently, I couldn't do it. So that kind of that's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
But luckily, I can still write for that. I still write for that site a little bit, and I'll probably mention it later. But like, because it's not their fault.
Yeah, no.
But like, I write for the other sites I write for. Well, like the indie site I write for, it's in the process of switching servers and has been for months. And I've been trying to contact the founder, and I guess he's been busy doing other stuff. So I haven't heard a response. And I was like, I need to get that work back that's there.
Yeah.
And then I've just been writing like some op-eds for Parallax Media every so often. I just wrote one about Hideki Kamiya's Hero trilogy and what they're based off of, and where you can watch them where you can legally stream like the shows they're based off in the U.S.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just like I've been focusing mostly on this podcast, and then just trying to support a lot of friends who stream, because that's like half of what I've been watching is other people streaming.
Yeah, during this quarantine time.
Like, it makes sense. It's a way to hang out with friends.
Yeah, you know? Exactly.
Alright, and then the next, getting back to the recommended list, we also have another article by you, a specific one. She Dreams Elsewhere is the first game that feels made... Wait, whoops. Yeah. That feels made specifically for me.
Yeah, it's just a small piece I wrote. Yeah, like She Dreams Elsewhere. It's a indie title that's made by Studio Xavier, and it's a turn-based RPG with like an all-black cast, which is awesome. And I'm very much a turn-based gamer, like genre type gamer, so it very much speaks to me in that sense. And the music is great. Like the music is fantastic. Like it's really absolutely good. Fantastic. And the writing just feels very human, very realistic, and very relatable, regardless if you're black or not. It's like, you know, so it has something for everybody, while still being, you know, having a black cast, which is really cool. So definitely check it out. There's a free demo, which is like the prologue of the game, on Steam. So definitely look into that.
It's also on itch.io, I think.
Yep, itch.io. Yep.
Yeah. We have a podcast you were actually on, A Lesson in Blackness by Spawn on Me, and then I also just recommend the Spawn on Me podcast in general. Yeah.
So Khalif asked a few black voices in the community to talk about everything that's going on with George Floyd and the protests and everything that's happening, and it was a really good conversation that I'm glad that has picked up a lot of speed and a lot of awareness. I'm just happy to be a small part of it. I didn't get to say as much as I wanted to personally on that podcast, but like everything else that everyone else was saying, I thought was really important, and I was learning a lot. I was learning a lot myself. So it was a real educational podcast that I'm proud to be a part of.
Yeah, and then slightly related to that, because Blessing was also on that podcast, we have the Kind of Funny podcast, Black Lives Matter. I think that's all that the title was for that episode. obviously by Kinda Funny, which I actually listened to this morning, and it's great because I've been a part of the KF community for not actually that long. I feel only like I say I didn't really become that much part of a community until like a little more recently, but I guess I started in like 2017 around.
Yeah. Okay.
Like 2016 was when I started listening to them, and then all that, let's just say all that stuff happened, and I was like, oof. So it kind of like made me not want to go near the community for a while. But then, like as I paid attention to more people and met more people, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I started following kind of funny.
That's how I know you.
Yeah. That's how I started kind of watching Kind of Funny from the beginning. I was more like lurking for a while, but it wasn't until like 2017, I believe.
Okay,
where I really like, actually jumped in, took the plunge, and everything like that. So it was, I don't know. It was, it's a great community of people. If you decide, invest, you got to invest into the community, and you get rewarded for it. Like, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't a part of the Kind of Funny community.
Yeah. So. And then like a lot of the best friends are also doing streams right now, donating to various BLM related causes. The ones I can think of off the top of my head are Kaylee Woomer, who she's actually doing a cross-stitch as we record this, a Black Lives Matter cross-stitch, while also raising funds for the Northwest, I don't know the specific name of it, the Northwest Bail Fund. She actually made double the goal. She was actually able to raise double the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So
it looks like the Northwest Community Bail Fund.
Yeah, and then Chloe was also Echo Chloe was also donating. Those are probably the two best friends I tune into their streams the most frequently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but I believe Snowbike Mike probably would be donating as well.
I haven't seen anything from him yet, but I mean, he definitely has the ability to get some. Some donations for sure. He has a really big following as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then also Zombie Kills, who was on the Spawn Me podcast. She was doing, I don't know if she still is, but she was doing a a charity streams for the Mississippi Bail Fund, because that's where she's from. And yeah, so that's really cool as well. So definitely give some love out to her. Twitch.tv/ZombieKills @ZombieKills on Twitter, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, doing good stuff.
And then going down the recommended list, I can't believe we're still Black Lives Matter, Black Voices Are Important by GameSpot. Black Creators to Read, Watch, and Follow, also by GameSpot. I gotta say, GameSpot's been doing a great job on stuff too.
Yeah, Michael Higgum has been really cool about trying to get Black voices out there. I'm supposed to be featured on that probably tomorrow. We were just kind of waiting for the Inside Gaming stuff to come out before promoting me. But yeah, really cool that they're doing that for Black voices in the gaming space.
I believe that's where I found that's where your She Dreams Elsewhere article is on there.
Is it really? Is it already on there?
I think so. I think that's how I found it. Like, because I was looking down the list and I was like, oh, I should put this in there.
Oh, I did not know that. I was not. I was at the very least I was not told that. So,
at least I think that's where I found it. I don't think it was on.
Dualshockers. Yeah, no, it is on there. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now. That's cool.
And I don't know how to pronounce this next name, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but we have Finally I Can Be Me in Animal Crossing, but I'm exhausted. There needs to be an accent on that first E there. By, I don't want to pronounce this wrong. I'm guessing Funke
Joseph
or Funke Joseph.
Funke Joseph. I'm not on. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. He was just on the on IGN Beyond with Blessing today. Or I believe I'm sorry. I believe they're non-binary. I want to get that correct before. Yeah, so that's really cool that because I just heard of him or them, sorry, personally today, and and then I saw that they were writing that for GameSpot. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. We have Black History Month. Where are our Black gaming journalists by Jeffrey Rousseau over at US Gamer. It's actually, this article is from February, but it's always relevant. And actually, Jeffrey used to write for one of the first sites I wrote for, Game Skinny, so that was cool to see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool to see people go from Game Skinny to like other bigger things. Like Felicia Miranda, she wrote stuff for IGN, and then now she's at Digital Trends now. It's just really cool to see people like move up like that.
For sure.
And I'm still stuck over here. No, I'm just kidding. No, Game Skinny is great as well. Game Skinny is also doing what they can, but since they're a much smaller outlet, it's a little harder. But they're still doing what they can.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that. Dualshockers is kind of in a similar space as well, but we're trying to get us to where we want to be.
We have The Natural, The Trouble Portraying Blackness in Video Games by Evan Narcisse over at Kotaku. We have, this isn't really gaming related, this next one, but it is, well, it's a gaming website, technically. But,
yeah.
5 movies that show John Boyega's range by Monty Velez over at Uppercut Print, our friend Monty. I need to get her on this podcast at some point, too.
Yeah, Monty's awesome. But she'll probably just talk about K-pop, She'll be like, I don't care if it's about Japan. We're talking about K-pop.
That's okay. Hey, K-pop bands record their songs in Japanese too. So there you go.
That's actually really cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, I was looking on Spotify.
Wait, no, I do remember that because I know that BTS has a Japanese version of "Boy with Love," which is a banger. Like if you
So I was watching We Bare Bears, great show. And they have a lot of like references to like Korean families and culture, and they had a K-pop band called Monsta X as like guest stars on an episode, and they had a song in there, and so I searched them up on Spotify, and it was the same song, and it was like Japanese version. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, that's just like a thing that K-pop bands will do. They'll make a Japanese version of every, I don't know if every album, but at least some albums. So
that's
really
wild.
Cool.
That's cool. That's awesome.
And then our last thing is how devs are still making big games during the pandemic by Wes Fenlon. That's more like because there still is unfortunately a pandemic going on during everything else. It's like, oh my god. It's a lot.
Yeah, dude. Like I feel like everyone's just tired, like just mentally, physically, and I don't know. I just it sucks. I don't know. It's just a rough time for everyone.
But it's like. But like that's kind of the part of it, right? Like people are tired of feeling that way, and they know there's stuff they can do to change it, and that's like,
yeah.
And now we're finally seemingly getting somewhere, although it's going to take a while still.
Yeah, but and I'm not saying even like with just like the racial issues that we're experiencing right now, but just everything with the quarantine and being
people, like
staying indoors for so long, like. It's been like since March, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like end of March, and it's the beginning of June, and we're slowly opening things back up now.
Even though like we technically shouldn't be, and all this other stuff, and
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm still wearing my masks. I'm still wearing my mask, just in case.
I haven't gone outside. I mean, I've gone outside, but I haven't gone like away from my house since March.
I mean, I do some driving stuff, so I definitely go out, but like I'm always having a mask on me.
Yeah, you do what you need to, but Yeah. The one thing I read that somebody was like, well, with the protests, the one good thing is that even if there are more cases, it means there will be a higher, even though having more cases sucks, there would hopefully be a higher amount of antibodies that people can donate and research, which makes fighting against it easier. It just sucks that it has to be, that way. It has to be something so intense and uncertain about, like, we don't know the effects. We don't fully understand.
And even with, like, COVID going on and all these protests, like, you haven't really been hearing much, like, that people are getting diagnosed, testing positive for it. It's kind of...
Well, it takes a few weeks, right?
Yeah, it takes like 2 weeks, so, we'll know...
That's the one thing people are worried about.
Yeah, we should know by, like, sometime next week, basically, whether or not people are getting sick again.
And then besides that, you can also be asymptomatic, so it's like... that's the other thing. But enough about that.
Let's talk about Japan stuff.
Yeah. So usually we talk about, like, the bad news first, and Jason's the Shinigami, the bearer of bad news. But he's not here, and also a lot of the news was the delays from the I don't want to say from, but I guess the delays in support of the protest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I felt like calling that bad news was kind of insensitive, because, like, we're still gonna get video games. Like, it's not like they're completely going away. It's not like they're canceling the PlayStation 5.
It's like video games aren't going anywhere. You like, each and every one of you have a backlog. Like, work on your backlog.
Play your backlog. Yeah. Jesus, people on social media are just insane sometimes.
Yeah.
But what about your backlog? God. But yeah, so skipping the bad news this week. I don't think I'm gonna do that one. So Tokyo is moving to the second phase of their, like, recovery plan. So they're opening up certain things again, and they said if it gets to a certain point, they'll lock down again. But they have like a roadmap. This is from Anime News Network by Rafael Antonio Pineda. Although I saw an update that there were 34 new cases recently, so they sent out, like, an alert, like, hey, be careful.
Mm-hmm.
But still, the move to the third phase if the new infection cases remain low. But, like, hopefully that means, especially because a lot of game companies in Japan weren't equipped to deal with this, like, because I guess, I don't know, I guess in Japan things are a little different in regards to how certain jobs work.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a lot of I also learned, like, from this whole thing, fax machines are still used quite extensively in Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And also I think they're still used in the medical field, like, internationally too, which is, like, such a weird thing to think about. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tokyo will be fine. Tokyo is a pretty, they wear masks a lot in general and all that jazz. So I'm sure that, they'll be fine for now. But we keep hearing that there's going to be, like, a second wave.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I'm not, like, I don't think it's not going to happen, but I'm indifferent on it. Like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, then cool. Like, you know what I mean?
Because, like, there's nothing we can really do about it besides taking precautions at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even though things are opening up, and, like, at least where I'm from, like, there are so many people not wearing masks. I'm just like, y'all, you're dumb. You're dumb at this point.
I'm
still.
not even.
So, like, I bought myself, like, a proper, like, reusable mask.
Yeah.
That I can just, like, I just put, like, air filters in, and then I'm good that way. So, because I'm not expecting this to go away anytime soon. So, I think that's kind of the best direction to take right now.
Yeah. And then also related to Tokyo, I couldn't find an article on it specifically, but there were protests in Tokyo about a police brutality case against a Kurdish man, I believe, who had lived in Tokyo for like 20 years or something, and they were protesting against that. But like, there were also people in Tokyo protesting in solidarity with the U.S. Like there are people like all over the world.
All over the world. Yeah, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's really interesting because of
like not crazy in a bad way. It's awesome crazy.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, crazy awesome. Yeah, I get you. But yeah, it's both like, I mean, it sucks that we have to do this in the way that, you know, after all this has happened, and I'd like you know, hindsight is 2020. You wish like this could have happened earlier. But, you know, at least it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I don't know, seeing people all over the world do that, I feel like, at least in my lifetime and from my experience, no protests have ever gone, like, international as much as this one.
Yeah.
I may be like forgetting something recent, so I apologize. But like, just that from what I'm seeing right now, it seems like there's more. What's the word I'm looking for? Not unison. There's just like more people united against this.
Yeah.
Internationally than I kind of would expect.
Yeah.
Especially because other countries have a lot of problems with the U.S., which is understandable. But, like...
Yeah, and, like, I don't know, just from what I've been told from people that have visited Japan, like, either the people you interact with are incredibly kind or, like, freaking assholes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's, like, no in between. They're just...
I've actually been to Japan, and... Everybody I met was great.
That's cool. That's lucky. Awesome. Because that's where me and Celia want to go for our honeymoon. Because I so cool. Want to go to Japan like so bad.
Oh yeah, I've wanted to go back for so long.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool, and there's like realizing how much stuff I missed because this was like my trip was like a school related thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's once. Hopefully the world figures out things, and then everybody wants to go to Japan now. Like you, me, the KF guys, everybody wants to take a trip to Japan and can't now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But it's so cool. Japan's so cool.
It really is. All right, so moving on to actually game-related. I mean, okay, it's all game-related because everything's affecting the game industry, but you know, a little more game-centric. Report: PS4 titles submitted for certification after July 13th must be PS5 compatible. This is from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. So Sony Interactive Entertainment has told developers that any PS4 title submitted for certification after July 13th must be compatible with PlayStation 5, according to a Eurogamer. Oh, I should have looked at that. I always do that. So this is kind of a... So I wonder when they're gonna... Like, it always makes me wonder when they're gonna stop producing certain things. Because it usually takes a couple years. Because, you know, 3DS, I know it's a different company, but you know, I don't know if 3DS cartridges are still being produced, but, like, 3DS is still being supported.
In Japan, yes. I don't know about America.
I don't know. We had a news story the other day about the 3DS eShop shutting down in several Central and South American countries.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's not until July, but I expect that to ramp up. So like, just in regards to, like, in general, I'm always interested to see, like, how long they keep supporting a console, especially because, like, not everybody's going to be able to get the new console at launch, especially when these consoles, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, are expected to have a much more limited supply because of the pandemic.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was the pandemic or if it's just that they are slowly ramping down on support, but I can't find, like, it is so hard to find a new like 3DS or 2DS at a reasonable price.
Really?
Outside of that one deal that's going on at Walmart with, like, you can get the black and turquoise one for new 2DS XL for like $100. Like, that is a great deal. Like, don't get me wrong, but if that deal didn't exist, you're looking at, from what I saw on eBay, you're looking at paying around $250 at minimum.
Even the regular 2DSs?
Even there, like, it's around, from what I saw, which, I mean, for me, I would never touch one of those things, but, like, it's,
they look like
you're
bread.
You're still looking at, like, around 200, I think, from what I saw. Yeah,
like,
like,
the regular price is only like 70 too. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. So,
yeah, so yeah, like I said, I'm always wondering about like how long it'll take, especially in regards to Sony, like the PlayStation 2 didn't stop being made until right before the PS4 was announced.
mm-hmm.
And then, like, the last PS2 game, I believe, was NBA 2K14.
I have no idea on that end.
I believe it was either the last game or one of the very last games.
I mean, that sounds believable, it being a sports game, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll see what comes of that. Next story is, are you a Battle Network fan at all? Mega Man Battle Network?
So I've never been into Mega Man in general, but is this based off, like, the TV show, like the kids' TV show?
This is what the TV show comes from.
Dude, the TV show was so cool.
Yeah,
I love the
TV
TV
show adapted these games, and then it kind of went into a little different thing, and we didn't get all the seasons, so we didn't get the animes based off every game. But
oh, that sucks, because the show was rad.
Yeah, so
because I remember it always playing, like, either before or after Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, Kids WB. Yeah,
Kids WB. Yeah, every Saturday morning.
Did you happen to watch Games Daily today?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Because I don't want to. Because they talked about at the beginning about Jackie Chan Adventures and
my god,
some other cartoons.
Shaolin Showdown.
And I on Twitter I said, like, hey, I want to see you guys. Like, you guys should do a podcast where you just talk about that and other Saturday morning cartoons. I would love that.
Yeah, it would be. Oh, dude.
Like, I want to do a podcast like that too.
Oh my god, it would be such a fun podcast.
We'll get one together.
Jackie Chan Adventures, Shaolin Showdown, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh my god, those were the good old days.
I don't even remember those were the ones I watched. Oh, X-Men Evolution, that's a good one.
Yeah, I remember.
Static Shock.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Anyways, back to the Mega Man story. Capcom seems to be preparing to celebrate Mega Man Battle Network's 20th anniversary. This is by Jenny Latta over at Silicon Era. One of the interesting Mega Man series has that's an interesting way to put it. Has a pretty major birthday coming up. A Mega Man Battle Network anniversary in 2021 to celebrate the spin-off series turning 20. Seems like Capcom could want to do something to honor the occasion because the Japanese official site is looking for licensing partners. So this might be more for, like, products, like not like toys and stuff, clothing, figures, food, and toys. However, like, because they've done, the Mega Man, the Legacy Collection, and the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, I don't think it would be too far off a Battle Network collection. Yeah, because is Battle Network similar? It's kind of like Fire Emblem, right? It's like it's more like, have you ever heard of the indie game One Step from Eden? No, but it's kind of card, in a way. It's card based. So you remember in the show they had the battle chips, and so it's like, I don't know how. Dude, I want to just watch that again. But yeah, it's a card based, not exactly turn based, but card based, in a way, and you have like a deck of battle chips that you can use. It's really fun, and I do recommend One Step from Eden.
That sounds
check out
really fun.
Kind of like.
What did that release on like Game Boy Advance Battle Network?
Yes. Well, there was one on the GameCube, but then all the rest were on. Oh no, so one was on the GameCube. Some of them, most of them were on the Game Boy Advance. Then one of the ones, I believe, Battle Network 5 was one of those ones where it was like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, where they had a DS version and a Game Boy Advance version, and those were the two separate versions. And then Battle Network 6 went back to Game Boy Advance, and then they had a crossover with Mega Man Star Force that I don't think was released here.
Wait, so you're telling me that 5 was Game Boy Advance / DS, and then 6 went back to just Game Boy Advance?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's weird.
But no, like that sounds awesome. And if I got the first Legacy collection, and I was just like, this is fine, like, you know, but Battle Network, that sounds really cool. I hope there's a collection.
Did you also know that the dub voice of main character Lan Hikari is also the dub voice of Light in Death Note?
That makes sense. Like that sounds right. It's been a minute, but like I believe it. I believe it.
I know a lot of voice acting dub stuff, so I like whenever I could throw a fun fact in there. She actually mentions One Step from Eden at the end of that article, saying it takes inspiration from the series. Yeah, so that's definitely something you should check out. Next story is, and we're still on the topic of Saturday morning cartoons, technically. The Pokemon Company announces 14.8% increase in profits, marking its second biggest year.
I mean, that makes complete sense. Like, Sword and Shield is already the Switch's 5th selling best game, and it sold more units than any Pokemon game that released on the 3DS as well. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Pokemon Company has revealed in the Japanese Gazette that it recorded a profit of 15.367 billion yen, which is 142.7 million US dollars, during its last fiscal year, which ended on February 28, 2020. 14.8% increase. Pokemon Go and Pokemon Sword and Shield both played a major role in the company's earnings last year. I'm surprised I see so many people still, well, okay, maybe not as much now, but, you know, Pokemon Go, there were still a handful of people playing it even after its heyday.
Oh yeah, there's so many, there's still quite a community for Pokemon Go. Like, there are times where, because I'm not a mobile gamer, like, at all. Like, I am a, like, for a lot of people that know me, I am like the Kingdom Hearts fan to them. Oh, and
yeah, you are.
And I don't touch Unchanky, or Union Cross is what it's called now.
Union Cross, yeah. I tried it. It was okay.
There have been times where I've jumped in and I played it for like a week or two pretty consistently, but then I just forget about it. It's just like, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. For a mobile game, it's like, well, it's okay. It could be a lot worse. Whatever.
So, but yeah, outside of that, you know, the Pokemon thing isn't really surprising. I just want them to remake Johto again.
So you are okay. So we got somebody who knows their stuff here, because Gen 2 is best gen.
Yes, it 100% is. That is a fact. Pokemon Crystal is the best Pokemon game ever made, and you will not tell me anything otherwise. It is the greatest. It's the greatest Pokemon game. It's also a top 10 JRPG, of all
Personally,
time.
I don't usually say Crystal specifically. I usually say Soul Silver, but it's, you know.
I think the original is better than the remake. That's my personal thing, because my personal preference there is because I like the pixelated art style. I like the music.
And it was
the simplicity of it, you know what I mean?
It was the first one where the Pokemon had little animations, and I love telling the story. I called my friend after I got it. I was like, "Dude, the Pokemon move now."
Yeah,
because I'm just so amazed by it, even though it's just this little thing.
Yep.
And then it was like I was so sad for Ruby and Sapphire. They went back to the static images, and I was like, no, what happened? Then Emerald, they did it again. I was like, yes. And then ever since Diamond and Pearl, they just kept doing it. I was like, okay, good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I usually say Soul Silver because of I like that it's the second generation with all the fourth generation improvements.
For sure. For sure. I get that.
But like, I'm not gonna say like Crystal is not. Yeah. It's a preference thing.
Yeah, it's definitely that, and I will say that there's some nostalgia to it as well, because like Pokemon Crystal is what made me a gamer. Like Pokemon Crystal is the game that made me fall in love with video games for sure.
Okay,
like there are other games that like
sense.
I enjoyed playing, but Pokemon Crystal, I was just like, this game is fucking freaking special. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, I know.
Pokemon Crystal, I understand.
Yeah, so. I really adore that game. I got the Johto, the gold and silver soundtrack vinyl at PAX East this year,
sick.
And
That's so
I was so happy that I got it because it was sold out on the site that sells it, and I saw it in person. I was just like, without hesitation, I just picked it up. I'm like, please and thank you.
Oh my god! Yeah.
So it was awesome. I selfishly I want a Johto remake, but they're probably going to move forward and do Sinnoh. And
you don't think they're going to do another Let's Go, but do it in?
If they do another Let's Go, it'll be Johto. But I think that they're going to do a proper like Sinnoh remake, Sword and Shield style.
Yeah, the biggest Diamond and Pearl fan I know is probably, and I'm actually don't know how big of a Diamond and Pearl fan she is. I'm just going based off of her Twitch stream, like pre-roll, is probably Chloe.
Oh, really?
Because that's the only Pokemon stuff I ever hear her really talk about. She has the clip of like from one of the movies with like Dialga and Palkia and Arceus. So like,
oh yeah, because she like loves Arceus. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I think
it's a specific. Yeah, cause
I think I remember seeing that somewhere.
Yeah. I need to get her on to talk about that at some point. But yeah, it's just so it's interesting seeing how people like different generations and like people just a few years apart have like a preference for a certain one.
Yeah, because my friend who I basically lived, like we went to high school together, and then we basically lived together all throughout college and all that jazz, and he's a gamer as well. And like how much I love Pokemon Crystal, like he loves Pokemon. The way he loves Pokemon makes me look like that I don't love Pokemon. Like that's how much he loves Pokemon when it comes to the Pokemon games. So like, and Diamond and Pearl is like Sinnoh, Platinum specifically is Sinnoh's like his favorite generation. I think Emerald though is like his favorite Pokemon game, if that makes sense.
Emerald is really good.
And unfortunately I never played Emerald. I played Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh.
Or I played Ruby. I played Ruby originally. I played Alpha Sapphire when it got remade, and that was fine. Like I was
Yeah, it's kind of
So, but yeah, I love Pokemon. Pokemon is the reason why I play games. It is
I'd probably say same.
It is because like I got the Pokemon, the Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu Switch, because I was just like, Pokemon is probably my favorite Nintendo property. Like it was not even owned by Nintendo, but like that is connected to Nintendo. Yeah. And I was like, this is probably the best I'm ever going to get to a custom Switch that I will love. My favorite that will come out. So because it's so cool, because it has like the Eevee and Pikachu on the dock, and then right next to it is the Joy-Con of the same color.
Yeah.
So I love it. It's not second gen Pokemon, but it's still like the Pokemon that I fell in love with. Like, because I obviously played Red and Blue and Yellow before I played Crystal. I actually didn't play Gold or Silver originally. I just played Crystal. And yeah, Crystal was what made me love video games for sure. I really enjoyed Red and Blue. I had Blue as a kid, but it was Crystal that really cemented like my love for games. So shout out to Pokemon Crystal. I'm actually going to talk about Pokemon Crystal specifically next week on RPG University that Irrational Passions does. So
okay.
I'm looking forward to talking about that.
Oh, Irrational Passion. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. I believe I think Nate from the NES pod has talked a lot about Pokemon Crystal as well.
Yeah, I told he was playing it, and normally me and Nate don't really agree much on video game opinions, but then he said like Pokemon Crystal is like without a doubt the best Pokemon game, and I'm like, thank you, dog, thank you.
I would say
I was
a lot
so
of stuff
happy.
that he says. Yeah, I wouldn't agree with game opinions, but yeah, I get that.
So. Yeah, but no, but I remember when I won't go on too much longer. It's a really long-winded conversation.
Oh,
but,
no worries.
Dude, I remember
we're not on a time limit.
Here's the reason why you know that Johto is the best generation of Pokemon. When you were in, because how old are you?
Because Cyndaquil was in it. No, I'm just kidding. Cyndaquil, that whole evolution line is just my favorite. That's why I say that.
Cyndaquil is awesome. I think all the starters are awesome. I think Chikorita gets way too much shit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But how old are you?
I can't disclose that information. No, I'm just kidding. I just turned 27 on Tuesday.
Yeah, so you're a year older than me. So
yeah.
So you had to remember this. In high school, when Heart Gold Soul Silver came out, everyone was playing it.
8th grade.
Oh, really? No, you weren't in 8th grade. I was in high school when it came out.
When Heart Gold is... Oh, no, no. I'm thinking of Diamond Pearl. I'm sorry.
When Heart Gold...
It was junior year of high school, and I don't know who was playing it, because it was a rough year for me.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. But, let me tell you, for me, because I was in band, and we had a really big band, everyone was playing Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Oh,
everyone.
Yeah, that was when Diamond and Pearl came out. In 8th grade, that was kind of
You could just be in the band room, and you'd see at least one person with a DS in their hands playing Pokemon, and we would just talk to each other like, "Oh, what starter did you pick? Oh, how far in the game are you?" And all this jazz. And man, what a time to be alive! You'd see people walking around with the Poke Walkers, awesome.
God, I wish I could have had that.
so cool. So that was for me, that was probably even though just as there's Pokemon Go, and that was insane. People were everywhere with Pokemon. So think of it that way. When Pokemon Go came out, and you saw everyone at all the spots, just picture that, but in a school.
And just a DS instead of a phone.
Just DSs instead of a phone. That's what happened when Heart Gold Soul Silver came out.
That's crazy.
And then people would basically give shit to anyone that had Heart Gold, because Soul Silver was obviously the way to go.
I wouldn't. I mean, as much as I prefer Silver, but I'm not gonna.
I was about to say, what are you trying to say, Erroll? Were you a Heart Gold guy?
I'm not gonna say anything about people who like Heart Gold. I mean, because it's just a different version of the
Oh
same
no!
right?
It's just absolutely, but it was just but Lugia is better than Ho. Come on now.
Yeah. That's
Lugia
true.
got a movie. Ho didn't.
Well, technically, now he did. Finally.
Yeah, but that wasn't a good movie, was it?
No, it was. It was okay until.
That's the one who Pikachu talks, right? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Pikachu talks. That was terrible.
It was very briefly.
That was terrible, though. Oh, I remember.
And then Lugia was in the sequel to that, actually.
Yeah, but Pokemon 2000 is.
Lugia's in that. Lugia was also in the Hoopa movie, whichever one that was. He was
sure.
He was.
Entei was in a different Pokemon movie, but Entei, Pokemon the third movie is Entei's movie, and Entei is my favorite Pokemon of all time.
Pokemon 3 is really, that one's really.
Pokemon 3 is the best Pokemon movie. Pokemon 3 is amazing.
I
don't
completely agree with that. However,
to be fair, I will say the last Pokemon movies I saw were the Hoenn ones. I don't think it's a good movie, but I think it's very action packed, which is why I really like it. I really like the Deoxys movie.
Yeah, that was on Kids WB.
yeah, I really like that one, but I don't particularly think it was good.
Yeah,
Pokemon Heroes, so good with Latios and Latias.
I've only seen that one once because that was the last one in theaters for a while.
That one was so good. And then the Celebi one, where you find out that it's Oak as a
Oak
kid.
at the end, yeah.
That was wild.
As a little kid, that blew my mind.
I literally was just like, "Duh, are you serious?"
We actually the J-list thing that we usually do. I've been thinking of spinning that off into a podcast where we talk about like Japanese anime movies, but specifically anime movies based on anime series.
Mm-hmm.
So we have like Pokemon, the Pokemon movies, the
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Digimon movies. We were gonna start with the Naruto movies because they're all on Netflix. So yeah, if we do that, I'll definitely get you on for that.
Yeah, that'd be fun for the Pokemon and the Yu-Gi-Oh ones for sure.
Man, we're getting so.
Yeah. So,
Jason, maybe this is why we need you. Rein us in. But so the next story, it is still Pokemon related. Pokemon Sword and Shield Expansion Pass Part 1, The Isle of Armor, launches June 17th. This was great news to get on my birthday for one of my favorite game franchises.
oh, happy belated birthday!
It was like, I was like, well, even though everything else is going on, at least I get like game news that's relevant to me, even though a lot of other people might not care. It was like, that's really cool. Galarian Slowbro, we get a confirmation that he's poison and psychic, and also has like a poison stabby. The tail is now a poison stabby cannon or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it's like not a cannon, but it's like a. He's using it as a weapon effectively.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm basically on the boat right now where once both of the expansions come out, I'll hop back in. Like I'm in no rush to play them. Like I love Pokemon. Like even though Pokemon is not the franchise that I fell in love with back when I was a kid, it has earned my money for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like I will always buy the next mainline Pokemon game because of the memories that I have with that franchise. That being said, like I don't care enough to get it immediately. Like with Pokemon Sword and Shield, like I wouldn't have gotten that game at launch if unless it didn't come with that dope ass Steelbook, and I was like, I want that Steelbook, so let's get it, 'cause, you know. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm just waiting until the second one comes out later this year.
Yeah, we also finally got confirmation of the two new Reggie legendaries, Regieleki and Regidrago. The electric Reggie and the obviously dragon one.
Like that's the thing that like really hurts me with Pokemon is that they keep expanding on things that already are created.
It's like,
and just,
wait,
like,
that doesn't make sense lore-wise. How are you going to explain
just stop. Like, don't do it. Like, there's Galarian versions of legendaries now. No, that doesn't make sense. Like,
I mean, here's the thing. Here's my excuse for Galarian versions of legendaries is that it actually comes from the anime, technically. So, legendaries doesn't necessarily mean there's only one of them.
I know, but it's still
it is completely feasible to me that some legendaries could have moved continents and adapted.
Yeah.
Over however many. But I understand what you mean. Like they're taking these things and they're changing them instead of making new things or making evolutions to old ones, and now the problem is the evolutions they're making to old ones are now region specific, so that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, and then like I was never, at first I thought the mega evolutions were cool, and the more I thought about it, like back in Gen 6, I was like, this is not what I want. And then like they started doing the region forms. I'm just like, I
mean, personally, I love Gigantamax because I'm a big kaiju fan. So
that's
like,
fair. And then like
I was like,
and then like the Z moves, I was just like,
the Z moves are kind of whatever. I like the Mega forms originally, but then like, and Gigantamax forms, like I just said, a kaiju fan, so I can't like. It's hard for me not to like that.
Yeah.
I actually did an article for Parallax prior to Sword and Shield's release about giant Pokemon in before Sword and Shield. So I did like stuff in the anime. There's the Electric Tail of Pikachu manga, which had like a giant Haunter, and it got pretty dark, and it was actually super cool. I'll have to send you that later. But yeah, but like Galarian Moltres, I think looks super cool. Except for they're still repeating like these type combinations that they've repeated way too well. Okay, Fighting Flying was for Galarian Zapdos. That's fine. They've only had like one Pokemon with that so far.
Yeah.
But Psychic Flying, way too many Pokemon have that type combination already. And Dark Flying, there's a handful of them.
Yeah, and
like we'll see.
Yeah. Like I will say though that like Sword and Shield is definitely my favorite Pokemon since Gen 3. Like since Hoenn, it's definitely my favorite Pokemon game. Maybe Sinnoh, but I would have to go back and replay it, and I really don't want to. So I think that says how much I really care about Sinnoh. But like for the original 3 generations of Pokemon, like I could definitely like go back and replay without a hitch. So
there are also starters you can get with hidden abilities through Pokemon Home. I tried to do it.
I want to do that.
It was such a convoluted method. I thought you just had to deposit a Pokemon from Sword or Shield into Pokemon Home, and then it'll give you a thing. But no, you have to do that, then do a thing with the phone app, and then you get it. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna.
No, yeah, that's what they've been doing. There's like there's a home, there's like an app on your phone now, and you have to scan something and. Because I remember there was like a shiny Pikachu and Eevee event that happened at Target, and for Let's Go, back like a year ago, and I was just like, and I did that, and I was like, this is like, it's cool. Like it's cool that you don't have to like talk to someone to get like, hey, can you give me the scratch code so I can get this legendary Pokemon or anything like that, like at GameStop. So
yeah,
but still cool, because I'm pretty sure like in my. I think it's my Moon. I don't know. There was one Pokemon game where I had like a bunch of legendaries. But I forgot which one it was, and if I still have it or not. I feel like I do though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm only keeping Pokemon Sun until I can transfer everything.
Yeah. So I definitely played Pokemon Sun and Moon. Rowlet best starter. But yeah, so that's cool.
I always pick the fire starter. So
you're one of those people. You always pick the fire starter.
Well, okay, that's not necessarily true. When I first played Sapphire, I actually picked Mudkip first.
Yeah, I picked every water starter until I got to Froakie, and I was just like, no, I refuse. And then I picked.
What's wrong with Froakie?
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know that he turned into Greninja.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're
saying. And then I chose fucking Chespin. I got Chestnut.
Oh, whoops.
And I was just like, this is dumb. This is
like there are 2 fire starters I don't really like, and that's Tepig and
no.
And well, I like Fennekin, but I don't like Delphox that much.
Yeah. So okay, we are going on to Pokemon too much.
Yeah. We should just make we should make another podcast. I'm just going to make the In From Japan podcast network, and it's just going to spin off into a bunch of other different podcasts. That's not a bad idea, though. All right, this is finally we're getting away from the Saturday morning cartoon stuff, but we're going to actually get right back to it in a couple of news stories. So next story is Platinum. So are you a fan of Platinum games?
Honestly, like not really. That's something that I like.
What if I told you that one of the Platinum games is based off of Power Rangers? Technically,
I know what the Wonderful 100. Like I have
Wonderful 101.
Yeah, the Wonderful 101. I have a friend who's like who really loves that game. Like a local friend. So he talks about it quite a bit. Yeah, Platinum just never has really connected with me, and I think that like I don't know, like. I play Nier Automata, and I know that people are gonna get hot about it, but like I played Nier Automata, and I played like a few hours. Like this is boring. Like I don't think the combat's that fun.
Oh, I don't blame Nier Automata. Wasn't really for me either, to be honest.
So
but and every other Platinum game I've loved.
But everyone talks about like how great it gets, and I'm just like maybe I should give it another chance. But it just I don't know. And people say like. Oh, it's so good because like the game, like that Taro's just like, basically get over it. Like, the game's very self-aware that of the issues that it has, and it basically breaks the fourth wall to say, I'm like, that isn't clever. Like, that's not interesting to me. That should not be applauded. So I don't know. I know that the music is great, and I really want to get the vinyl for that for Nier Automata. But outside of that, like, Nier Automata didn't really click with me. I played the first Bayonetta, and I played it for a good amount, but it just got to a point where it's just like, I'm just doing the same shit. Like, I don't know. I just didn't.
I could see why that's not everybody's cup of tea. Like, I just finished Astral Chain, and
Astral Chain is what I really want to play. I really want to play Astral Chain.
It was good, except for a couple. There's like a couple things, and it's when you weren't doing combat that I thought was like the worst parts, because you're like a detective too, and you have to do some investigation stuff. And there was a thing in the final boss fight that was really annoying, but otherwise I liked it.
Astral Chain is probably the one, if I could, off the top of my head, is probably the one major title that I did not play at all. Like, at least all the other games I played a little bit of to get a feel whether or not I liked it. I just never had the money at the time to pick up Astral Chain, but I definitely will eventually.
Yeah, you should definitely try it at least.
Yeah.
So Platinum already thinking about more self-published games after success of the Wonderful 101 Remastered, and will continue to work with other publishers. This is from Liam Doolin over at Nintendo Life. The Kickstarter for the Wonderful 101 Remastered was a huge success, and the campaign raising more than $1 million in just over $1 million in just over 12 hours. Now that the game is out on Switch, PS4, and PC, Platinum Games president and CEO Kenichi Sato has revealed the Japanese company is already considering more self-published games. In the same blog post, Sato said Platinum would continue to work with other publishers. We're already thinking about self-published games to come, but don't take that to mean we're going to stop working with other publishers too. That will continue as well. It's reassuring to know Platinum is still focused on its work with other companies. For example, it's currently hard at work at Bayonetta 3, which is a Nintendo-published title. It's a short thing, but it's cool to see Platinum have so much success.
I am looking forward to playing the Wonderful 101 Remastered. I was planning on backing it, but then just money didn't work out, so I couldn't. But
I was gonna back it, and I was like, it's getting so much money anyways. Like, I think they're good.
The main reason I wanted to back it is because apparently the backers got like an exclusive cover art. Oh, so that's why I was just like, ooh, exclusive. When I hear exclusive, I'm just like,
exclusive. Oh, exclusive.
I want it.
So when you hear when you're watching I guess it's not this year, but when you're watching like E3 or something, and then like exclusive, you're like, oh.
No, just like when it comes to.
Yeah, I'm joking, but yeah, but I know what you mean.
But but I am like that when it comes to steelbooks. Like Nintendo's game, like, ooh, like that was another thing, big thing with the Xenoblade Chronicles seller. I was like, vinyl and steelbook that we don't get in the US, at the very least the steelbook does not make sense. They should have given the steelbook. But the thing also is that I had Xenoblade 2 steelbook, so I was just like, I'm not going to not have the first one too. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going to figure this out and make it work.
The Captain Tsubasa game that's coming out in August, like, Europe gets this whole huge, I mean, let's be honest, soccer and Captain Tsubasa aren't popular in the US, but they are in Europe. So like they get these trading cards, a figure, a customized jersey. The legendary edition has a freaking foosball table.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
Yeah. And we're not even getting a steel book. It's like we get some pre-order bonus DLC, and I'm just like,
yeah, that sucks.
It's like, but I mean, I know for that it's a little different, because like, okay, I understand why, because of how soccer is viewed in the U.S., which is just so annoying. Alright, next story. Sega Shiro video reveals enemy Sega Hatan Shiro's true identity. Have you been following the Sega stuff at all? Not the Game Gear related stuff, just like the Sega Ta Sanshiro. A lot of people don't know about this, so I wouldn't blame you if you don't.
No.
Okay.
Wait,
so
wait,
Sega
wait. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, isn't that supposed to be like the... That's supposed to be like the sun, right? Or like...
Yeah, it's supposed to... So, what's interesting is... So, Segata Sanchiro, he was a mascot for Sega for like the Sega Saturn. I don't know if it was specifically the Sega Saturn, but he did stuff in like the late 90s and stuff. And he's actually played by the original Kamen Rider. So that's like a really cool fun fact. Especially because Kamen Rider is now available to stream in the US legally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that, and me and my friend have been watching Kamen Rider recently, and he sent me that in our Discord group, and he's like, "Hey, it's the original Kamen Rider. He's Segata Sanchiro," and I was like, "Oh my god," because like this commercial they have is like it's such a like tokusatsu type commercial. It's really funny. But yeah, there's the son, and he fights this masked villain, and then the villain takes the mask off, and he's the dad.
That's funny.
Yeah. And it's for like Sega's 60th anniversary. It's just a cool little like Easter egg, really, more than anything else. For the people who remember who that is, at least. But related to that is Sega announced palm-sized Game Gear Micro.
Yeah, I didn't look into that, but I just saw pictures of it, and I was just like, what is Sega doing?
Whatever they want.
That's true. They can do that.
So this is from IGN by Jordan Olderman. A set of palm-sized Game Gear Micro consoles have been revealed as part of Sega's 60th anniversary celebrations. The Game Gear Micro is currently only available to pre-order in Japan and will launch on October 6th. At time of writing, there has been no news of a Western release for the device. The console has a 1-inch screen and will arrive in 4 color schemes, each with a different set of 4 games preloaded, which is weird. So to get all the games, you'd have to get all 4 of them.
That is weird.
The fun-sized device will offer a headphone jack, charge via USB, and use 2 AAA batteries for power. Sega is currently offering promotion where if you buy all 4 variants of the Game Gear Micro, you will receive a special big window accessory that magnifies the screen while you play, which I think the original Game Gear also had. The console will retail in Japan for around $50. And so on the black one, you get Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Puyo Puyo 2, Outrun, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, sorry, I don't know. Puyo Puyo 2, Outrun, Royal Stone. On the blue one, you get Sonic and Tails, Gunstar Heroes, Sylvan Tale, and Baku Baku Animal. For the yellow one, you get Shining Force 1, Shining Force 2, Shining Force Gaiden Final Conflict, and Nazo Puyo Arle no Ru. And for the red one, you get Revelations, the Demon Slayer, Megami Tensei Gaiden, Last Bible Special, the GG Shinobi, and Columns. I don't know what any of those are. Except for, Sonic and...
Yeah.
I know what Sonic, Puyo Puyo, and Shining Force are. And of course, I know what Megami Tensei is, but...
Yeah. But most of those, I was just like, you're speaking a different language. I'm just like,
I don't know what Sega's doing with it. This is for those hardcore Game Gear collectors, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's so weird. You would think they would do a
Dreamcast or a Saturn classic or a Dreamcast.
I don't know if they
a Dreamcast classic or I don't know, something that's one of their consoles.
They already did the Genesis classic, right?
Yeah, they did the mini.
So I guess the next step they thought was the Game Gear Mini, because a lot of our Dreamcast games were ported to other things already. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for a Skies of Arcadia re-release. Next story. Final Fantasy 16 rumors are annoying, says Naoki Yoshida.
Yoshi P.
Final Fantasy 14 is still Yoshida's focus for years to come. This is from US Gamer by Matthew Olson. Square Enix's third development division is working on something big, and it could very well be Final Fantasy 16, but division head Yoshi P doesn't want us to get it twisted. Whatever that project is, and whether or not it is Final Fantasy 16, Yoshida will continue to focus Final Fantasy XIV for the foreseeable future. Yeah, so he just said, according to RPG site reports, he said, "It's annoying. I'm still going to continue to be being in charge of Final Fantasy XIV for more years to come, as long as I don't die from sickness or accident. So please ignore any non-official announcement. It's so bothersome." He's just like, stop.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't expect him to be the director of a game like that anyway. And like, Final Fantasy 16 is Final Fantasy 7 remake. You know what I mean? Like, that's what that is. But
so
like,
I remember like
it's Final Fantasy 16 like currently in early pre-production. Absolutely, it's
probably,
absolutely
yes.
in.
Dude, Dragon Quest 12, and I know that's a different thing, but like, you know, they start thinking. I'm sure they usually start thinking of early stuff for the next one as soon as like one comes out, or maybe not as soon, maybe a little after, to give themselves a little bit of a break. But
yeah, exactly. So it's gonna happen like probably 5 years from now. You know what I mean? But it's definitely in the works. It's definitely being talked about. So
it's just crazy. It's crazy to think that like Final Fantasy 14 is just so big, and then Final Fantasy 11 is still running, at least on PC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I actually found out recently, which blew my mind, that Dragon Quest X is a Wii U exclusive MMO in Japan.
Was a Wii U exclusive.
Well, yeah, but still, it's just like, are you kidding me? I was freaking out. Like, I was like, are you kidding me that is actually a thing that exists? You know what I mean?
Something that happened.
Yeah,
they did that first. I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I actually tried playing it because you can play it on Switch pretty easily. Dragon Quest X. So
really?
I tried, but it's kind of hard when you can't read Japanese.
Wait, do they ported it to Switch?
Yeah, you can download it as long as you have a Japanese Switch account. You can download. There's a whole guide. There are guides for it and everything.
Okay, so it's still like being supported and stuff.
Yeah, it's still being. It actually just got like a physical re-release in Japan pretty recently. You know how they do the physical re-releases with all the extra content and all that. Yeah,
that's so weird that they haven't ported that to America. Like, I know that I know that Dragon Age isn't, or Dragon Quest isn't huge in America comparatively to Japan, but like you don't even have to localize it. Like, just give it all subtitles. Give it like, you know, it's just weird.
That's still local. You're still translating. But
yeah, that's fair. But like, you know, it doesn't require all the voice acting work. Is what
I don't
I'm
know
saying.
if Dragon Quest X has voice acting, because Dragon Quest traditionally actually does not have voice acting. It wasn't until
you're right. Actually, yeah.
It wasn't until 8, and that was the Western version of 8. And then for 11, they made a Japanese dub late. I can't remember if it was later or they made a Japanese dub, and then they still had the traditional option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah. I'm just, I just because I just hate when big JRPGs like do mainline entries as MMOs, because it's just like, oh, I want to be able to, like, for Final Fantasy, like specifically like 11 being an MMO, but like, and while it's still running, like, why would I play 11 when 14 exists?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I want to play through all the Final Fantasies, you know. That's just like a goal of mine, is to be able to say I have played and beaten all the Final Fantasies.
I plan on doing that at some point after I finish all the Dragon Quest.
But I don't want to play 11, and I feel like it's going to get to the point where like they're going to shut down the servers, like after they're going to announce like, hey, we're shutting down the servers on this date, and I'm just going to think to myself, am I actually going to buy this game to download it and play through at least the main story just to say that I've beaten Final Fantasy 11? So
yeah.
But yeah, the Final Fantasy 16, expect an announcement in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And then this story, I didn't really look into this story, but I thought it was really interesting because this also is actually slightly related to Platinum. So Resident Evil's Shinji Mikami wanted to make an action game like Die Hard, but Capcom said no. So Shinji Mikami has a long career working on games. Oh, this is by Eric Van Allen over at US Gamer. Shinji Mikami has a long career working on games, notably the original Biohazard or Resident Evil, and while he's since gone on to lead both new survival horror games and other genres, one of his post-Resident Evil pitches was left on the cutting room floor. In a new interview with IGN, Mikami discusses his history of development and how he's often worked on survival horror projects from the Resident Evil series on through The Evil Within. But despite working on projects like God Hand, which I wish would get a re-release over the years, he gave an interesting answer when asked what he would have worked on if Resident Evil hadn't been so successful. I wanted to make an action game that felt like a movie like Die Hard. Mikami says he did try at one point, but Capcom passed. At the end of Resident Evil, I submitted a game proposal to Capcom to make a game like that, but they prioritized making a sequel to Resident Evil. And he's currently working on Ghostwire Tokyo. But it's crazy because Shinji Mikami helped make, or did he direct? I can't remember, but he made Vanquish.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard good things about so when Vanquish first came out, like I heard like mixed things. I heard like it's all right, you know what I mean? But like throughout time, I've heard more people say that Vanquish is really really good.
Yeah.
And I bought it on Steam when it was on sale for like a few dollars because I knew that it came with like the remastered stuff.
Yeah, he was the director.
Yeah, I've seen the game in action. I was like, this looks cool. Like I want to try it out.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Like if I like Vanquish, then yeah, like give him the ability to do that, you know.
Did he also do? Yeah, he also did Shadows of the Damned, which is another. It's like a horror action game.
I've heard of it. I haven't played it.
Yeah, I haven't played it either because that was him and Suda51.
Oh, okay.
Together. So like, yeah. So it's so crazy because like, I always think it's weird because I always think the horror. Like I'm not that into horror games, but if there's like a horror game related like person working on a different game, I'll likely really like that game. Like for example, Gravity Rush is by I believe is by the I don't know if it's the creator of Silent Hill or
just one of the producers or something.
One of the main people for it at least.
Yeah, and I've never played the first two Gravity Rushes, but I think I have them both. I just haven't played them.
There are only two.
Yeah. Did I say both?
You
of
said
them?
the first two, and I was like, I wish there was more.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, I think I have them both. I just haven't played either of them yet. I want to. So,
the composer for Gravity Rush is Kohei Tanaka. He has worked on various Gundam series and is also the composer for One Piece.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
No, he didn't do Silent Hill. He did. Oh no, wait. Unless he. No,
if you want to talk about
Siren.
If you want to talk about composers really quick, I am so sad that like people gave 13 so much shit because that soundtrack is literally the best soundtrack to any video game. Don't at me.
Are you talking about Final Fantasy 13?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 13.
Okay, because when you say 13, I know there's also a game called 13.
Sorry, I meant to say Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, Final Fantasy 13 has the best score to a video game in my opinion.
It's so fascinating to see after Final Fantasy 7 Remake, people are like, yeah, you guys should go back and actually play 13.
Yeah, because 7 might, like, here's the thing, like, Final Fantasy 7 Remake might topple Final Fantasy 13 just because it's literally like all of the great Final Fantasy 7 music but now orchestrated. But 13 was like the first Final Fantasy to have an orchestral soundtrack. And Masashi Hamazu, who is the composer, like that was like the first Final Fantasy he composed, but like because of the game kind of failing, he didn't get to do much. Oh, well, okay. So he also was the composer for Dirge of Cerberus, unfortunately.
Oh boy.
But like,
so at least it has good music.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like, man, I want him to do another Final Fantasy. I want him to do another Final. Wait, did he compose Final Fantasy 7 Remake? No way.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm
looking at this right now.
I remember talking about this with somebody else.
Did
I maybe.
Hold on, I'm gonna lose my shit if that's true. Because it will make so much sense.
Now I wish this podcast was streamed and I could
yeah,
be like,
it makes so much sense now. It makes so much sense now because I was like, why is this so good? The music's so good, and I was like, it's him. It's the dude. Final Fantasy 13, like best. Oh my god. How am I so dumb to have realized this right now? But seriously though, the music is just phenomenal. I think that he is the best composer in the business right now. Like, I know that Nobu Uematsu is like, he's legendary. He's like legendary, but he doesn't
in the whole business.
Yes.
Wow, you're putting it over. Oh god, the name escaped me. Yoko Shimomura. That's what I was gonna say.
Yes, Yoko Shimomura is fantastic. She is consistently great, but like. He is the past 2 games that he has composed on are like the 2 best like scores in video games of recent, like in my opinion. I will
say the Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack did have one of the best. The soundtrack was one of the best things for me, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, I'm trying to think about what else he has composed for.
I have a friend who's like, he's a big Final Fantasy fan, and he's like, yeah, Final Fantasy have never had a bad soundtrack. I don't know how valid that is. That's just his opinion, but so far, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, like, dude, shout out to him, because, like, he is so good. And I hope that he continues to direct, or, like, do the music for the mainline. Yeah, he's awesome, and, yeah, love him. Shout out to you.
Okay, moving on from that, going to another RPG. This news comes from Persona Central by Reggie. It just says it's only one name. It's only one name, so I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Scrambled, the Phantom Strikers survey results feature favorite characters, most played Persona games. Actually, I should have let you take this one because this is what you wanted to put on.
Oh yeah, I just know that was a thing that came out, and like Persona's freaking great. So, it says that they got the questionnaire results for the 4 games, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Persona 5 Scramble, specifically the Phantom Strikers. Responses were gathered from May 16th to the 19th. The purpose of these surveys was to gauge how fans played and experienced the games, and they also include comments from the developers based on the survey results. The interview comments from the producer and director Daisuke Kanada will be published at a later date. So basically, it's just kind of like some statistics on answers. Like, there are 2,991 respondents total, a 2-to-1 male to female respondent ratio. Over 3/4 of Persona 5 Striker players played on the PS4, which really surprised me. I thought that was going to be much higher on the Switch, because specifically with the adoption ratio.
Yeah,
that surprised me. Because I know that here, I'm betting that if this comes to America and it's on PS4 and Switch, which it should be, it's gonna get more sales on Switch. I think
it's
so,
funny,
at least.
because I have a friend who, he doesn't play the Persona games, but he likes watching the anime series.
Mm-hmm.
And he also likes Dynasty Warriors games. So I was like, hey, there's a Persona 5 game that's Dynasty Warriors that we don't have here yet, but it probably is coming here. He's like, oh, what? Really? Okay, I'm going to look into that then.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're going to want to watch the anime first, because I'm pretty sure it's a sequel.
Yeah, and that's also weird that it's like a sequel to 5, but not Royal. Like, I don't know how that's going to work out. Like, is there going to be like
isn't Kasumi in it, though?
No, I don't think so.
I could have sworn I saw a thing that she was in it.
It would be weird. I feel like that would be weird, too, because I'm pretty sure that Royal came out after Scramble. So, like, why would they...
here's an interesting question they had on the survey. If there is a sequel, what famous spot would you like the Phantom Thieves to visit? The most common response was overseas. One respondent said New York, although they'd be worried about understanding what was said.
Yeah, just like, what are they saying? Because they only know Japanese. Well, I mean, they learn English in school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, I guess so. And then it's like kind of like how many, who used what character the most. Yusuke at number 2. Shout out to Yusuke, best P5 character. And then like apparently there's a part where you ride a Ferris wheel and it like tells you you can invite someone. You can either invite like a specific girl or Ryuji and Yusuke together, hanging out with the boys. Let's see. There are memorable scenes. Which persona as Joker did you use the most? Kind of just like your impressions on the story, like how you felt about each thing. It was generally reviewed positively. Overall impressions, all that jazz. So yeah, you can check that out on Persona Central, and they have all those statistics for you there. Oh, and it also says, what Persona series have you played so far the most? You know, obviously five in Royal being the top spot with Golden in third. And then after that, like, Persona 3 Portable, like the games that you'd expect because they're more recently released. But yeah, they need to
just lower and lower the further you go into the past.
Yeah, so
which makes sense.
But yeah, so that's kind of the gist of it all.
That's cool, I guess. I mean, we're just still waiting for that announcement at this point,
yeah,
right?
it's coming. Like, there's no way it's not coming. But I don't.
Could be an Anime Expo announcement, actually.
It could be. I feel like
Anime Expo is a little too small for a Persona announcement because they announced stuff at the Game Awards, but that was also a Smash announcement, so it's kind of like, it could be or it couldn't be. Either way.
I feel like, I don't know, because I forgot her last name, but the woman who voices Futaba, like she does a lot of Twitter, and like I think I've seen somewhat recently that like she was like voicing Futaba like while in quarantine, so like I don't want to get people's hopes up, but that might have been like a little tease that like she's working on that stuff. So who knows?
And our last news story, this is from, and it'll segue into our main topic, but this is from Anime News Network specifically because I didn't want to do a story like of each thing, what each company's doing, and this one kind of focused on more. Well, I guess not one of them, but it kind of focused on the Japanese gaming companies doing stuff. So Square Enix, Pokemon Company, and Niantic donate to support Black Lives Matter movement. And then it also mentions Capcom. They just didn't mention it in the title. Square Enix announced Tuesday that it will donate $250,000 to support the Black Lives Matter organization and other charities, and will will match employee donations. Similarly, the Pokemon Company announced on Wednesdays that it will make a $100,000 donation to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP.
Yeah, NAACP.
NAACP, yeah, that's right.
You're good.
And an additional $100,000 to Black Lives Matter. And then Niantic, with a committed minimum. Announced it will donate its proceeds from Pokemon Go Fest 2020 ticket sales with a committed minimum of $5 million.
Holy shit! I did not. That's the first time I heard of that. That's wild.
Half of the donations will fund new projects from Black gaming and AR creators that can live on the Niantic platform, with the ultimate goal of increasing content that represents a more diverse view of the world. The other half will go to U.S. nonprofit organizations that are helping local communities rebuild. We'll also donate $100,000 to the Marsha P. Johnson Institute, and will match employee donations up to $50,000. My God.
Dang.
It will donate $60,000 to the Gamehead nonprofit organization for teaching game development to kids, and will take measures internally to promote diversity, inclusivities, and awareness within the company. And then Capcom. In addition, other companies have announced postponements of events. We already kind of touched on that. To redirect focus on the Black Lives Matter movement and ongoing protests. Capcom announced on Wednesday that it's delaying the Capcom Pro Tour Online start date. The previous schedule. Oh, this is just about. Okay, I thought the Capcom thing was about because I know they made a statement too. I thought it was about their statement. My bad.
It's all good.
So I know a lot of people actually really liked Square Enix's statement specifically. I should find it. But like the reason I had this last is it will segue into it, and also like you being a big Kingdom Hearts fan, and I'm guessing Final Fantasy as well. Like, although at the same time, it's also like it's a brand, and you know this whole thing. There's this whole thing about it's just a brand, and they're just saying that for like good publicity, kind of a thing.
I still think it's really cool that they're matching all of their employees' donations.
When it's mixed with like taking action, when it's not just a statement, and they're like, oh, we're also donating to the. It's like, okay.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, I think Square Enix, out of every out of the video game industry in general, like I think them and surprisingly EA have done the best job at like supporting everything that's going on, because EA is donating a crap ton as well as doing matching employee donations as well, if I remember correctly, and then Square Enix is doing it too. So shout out to them for sure. Square Enix is like my favorite developer, so I'm very happy about them right now.
They pledged. Oh wait, Siliconera story. Here I found it. They're pledging 250,000 and employee donation matches. Yeah. So that's how much they were doing. You can go to their Twitter for their full statement. So going kind of like segueing, like kind of, I don't want to say smoothly. I can't really do that smooth of transitions, but like segueing into like our main topic, which is kind of just this current situation in the U.S. and the industry, and also because I've seen, I know some people don't like doing this, but it kind of depends on how you do it. In my opinion, it's like using fictional media as like as a way to help like inspire you to like get. Oh God, I completely lost the word.
To teach, you know, lessons about like the real world, and
but I meant to say like activism.
Yeah. No, like I mean, and I would say like recently Final Fantasy VII Remake is like the best example of that for sure.
Yeah, the Barrett quote that everybody's using.
Oh yeah, the Barrett quote that everyone's using, and just in general of that what that game represents thematically and in that sense. And Persona 5 Royal also does it to a degree.
And like it's interesting seeing all these people on social media. You see the people complaining, and then you see the other people being like, wait, have you paid attention to the stories in the JRPGs you've played?
Yeah.
Because like this is super relevant.
Yeah, exactly. So
like for me, I've been seeing a lot of, in the anime community, I've been seeing a lot of people posting things from One Piece, because like I don't know how much about One Piece you know.
Nope. No, it's kind of like one of those things.
Not even gonna touch that one.
Yeah, it's like it's like Naruto was my One Piece, and
okay. I was a big Naruto fan too. So
One Piece was just too far in for me to even attempt. And they're like, "Oh, there's a bunch of filler you can skip," and I'm just like, I don't know. I still don't want to. Like,
if you ever do try, I suggest reading the manga specifically because it's a lot faster.
Yeah. So,
the people were using, because there's like an arc about there is stuff in One Piece about racism specifically, and the government, like a corrupt government, is like pretty much the biggest one of the biggest antagonists in the entire series. And then like there's a whole Revolutionary Army faction, and there's a whole arc where they're taking one of the crew in. They don't want her to, because she's part of this culture that was researching this thing called the, oh God, what is it called? The Void Century, which is like this portion of history that's seemingly missing. And she and that crew member, she's part of this this whole island that was full of librarians who were like studying that, and the world government decided to destroy that island. So she was the last surviving member, and like once she joined the crew later, and then when the world government found out, they kidnapped her. So then the crew has to go and get her, and it's like a whole thing, and it's pretty relevant because she said like at one point she says like she yells out that like I want to live. Like, because Luffy was like, you need to give me your answer. It's like and it's like okay, because originally she declined them trying to, because she was too afraid that something bad would happen to the rest of the crew, and the crew was like, no, we're doing this. Like, we're getting you back.
Yeah, that's cool. Like because so many people say that One Piece is so good, but you just have to like commit to it.
Yeah,
and I'm just
it's hard. I know, I understand. It's hard
because I've actually watched some One Piece. Like I don't remember like the characters outside of Luffy.
The
but like
his dub on the Fox box.
I don't remember. Like my friend was watching it, so I was kind of watching it with him when we were living together.
Okay.
And I was just like, it just nothing was going on really, and I was just like, I don't know if this is just filler, but I just felt like no matter what episode I was watching, nothing of interest was happening. So I just never really.
You might have been in one of the really long arcs.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe like I'll take a look and see like what the guy, like the filler guide says.
Yeah, I always recommend the manga over the anime.
Yeah, and see, I'm just one of those guys. Like I know that people love their manga. I'm just not big into manga. I like rather watching it in action. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, because there's something that's really cool that happens in a manga, it's just my immediate thought is like, I can't wait to see that in anime form.
No,
so,
but that's why I recommend that for One Piece specifically if you haven't caught up, because then you can be like, when you won't have to wait. You can go on YouTube and find the clip of it.
Yeah,
and see that, and you can skip all the filler related to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so but that's cool. That's cool that the show does that. It's not particularly an anime, but I actually saw something that was like just rather simplistic that I thought that I really liked. It was from the Boondocks. Do you know what I'm talking?
I've seen all of the Boondocks.
Yeah.
So
the Boondocks.
I don't talk about it a lot, but I have
such a great show. Such a great show. And it's like
I mean, I can't really quote like at least half of that show. So I'm
no. But it's just like the part where like Huey is he's like given food from Grandpa, and he's just like, what do we do like when what can we do when there's like nothing that can be done, and like we don't know what we can do, and then he just like says, we do the best that we can anyway. And I was just like, and it was like revolving kind of like, the systematic things, issues that are happening in the world right now. And it's just like, oh, that's it was such a simplistic interaction, but it hit really hard. So.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Sometimes it's kind of just the simplest things, and like it could be like just the simplest statements that like, depending on how it's delivered, can just be like really powerful. Mm-hmm. Like for me, because I know, I remember you mentioned like something about like you wanted to go on a podcast to talk about Power Rangers, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting him on now because I'm a huge Power Rangers fan.
Dude, so good. I love like not anymore, but like when I was a kid. Oh my god, like back in the old days.
I recommend the comics very highly.
I've heard the comics are good.
Especially for an older audience who grew up with it too.
Did you watch like that fan film that came out like a few years ago?
The one really gritty,
the gritty one.
I don't think I did. I did see the 2017 movie, which I did not think was that bad.
I liked it too.
I actually own it.
I do too. I liked it. I was like, this is fun.
But now they're already rebooting it.
I know, and I like that squad. I was like, that's a cool squad.
Yeah. But the thing is, for that movie, the first teaser poster, it's the crew, and they're all like standing on like a car, looking at the stars.
Yeah.
And there's a little lightning pattern, and it just says "Together we are more," and that's just so simple, but like I love it so much, and I've been meaning to get that poster, like because I just love that. Just I don't know. So
yeah, dude, that film got way too much hate. And then like the teaser of Tommy at the end, I was like, are you kidding me, dog?
Yeah. You gonna do this right now?
It was so good.
I very, very highly recommend the comics. I just reread Shattered Grid because I got the hardback book, the like the deluxe edition, and it's so good. There's also they also had a crossover with Justice League recently, and actually,
I think I read that one. I read the Justice League Power Rangers crossover.
Yeah,
that was so much fun.
And they just had one with Ninja Turtles, even more recently.
Yeah, I love those wacky crossovers.
No, yeah, I love crossover comic stuff. So like, yeah.
So no, I remember watching. I was like, I am definitely getting this comic. That was when I actually was like reading comics like weekly as a hobby. I just don't have the time to do it, time or money to do it anymore.
I get you. But getting back to the time, I didn't have a lot of besides One Piece, Power Rangers, and that JRPG thing. I didn't have like a lot of examples. That's why I wrote down the examples.
And I know that like we're kind of in this a lot of like, a lot of the people that we associate with are very like anti-police and stuff like that. But but fucking Power Rangers SPD fucking rules.
Well,
it rules.
They're Space Patrol Delta.
Yeah, exactly. SPD emergency. Let's go.
I mean, I didn't watch stuff like at that point, but
dude,
yeah, that apparently is one of the more popular seasons.
You need to watch Power Rangers SPD, dude. It is so good. First off, the leader's black. Shout out to that.
Yeah. But he's not the first one.
Right? I know. Oh wait,
yeah, the first one was in Turbo.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. You're right, but still really cool. Did you hear that the Red Ranger from Ninja Storm died recently?
From Ninja Storm? Oh yeah, I remember that.
He's Samoan.
So
I was just like, he's so young. He was so young.
He apparently had a lot of problems, and like that sucks to hear, especially somebody who has such an impact on like kids on TV, or had such an impact. On kids.
But for me, like, my favorite Power Rangers is Dino Thunder. Dino Thunder,
that's a good one.
Was amazing, which is the one that's in between Ninja Storm and SPD. So like for me, like
it's the first one where somebody from a past season not the first one, but like the first one where somebody from Mighty Morphin like came back.
Yeah, where Tommy was the Black Ranger. Dude, it was so good. It was so good. Like I watched a decent bit of Mighty Morphin. Like I didn't watch all of it. Like, and I watched Time Force. I really enjoyed Time Force. And then I really didn't get back into Power Rangers until Ninja Storm. Ninja Storm was the first one, and then I watched Ninja Storm.
You really should, because the other thing about the Power Rangers comics is they make Time Force and SPD like super relevant to a lot of big events that happen, and also
really
somebody in SPD in the spin-off graphic novel Soul of a Dragon, where Tommy's son is part of the SPD.
That's so cool. Oh, dude, that's so cool.
I'm gonna need to send you like a handful of links after we record this.
No, like, I love Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, and SPD. That was like my golden age for Power Rangers. There were some other ones that I like would tune in every once in a while that I thought was like all right. Like Samurai was okay.
Oh, God. The acting got.
Yeah, the acting definitely got worse.
Not that the acting was ever like amazing, but it. Still, there was somebody like a friend of mine texted me like, "Hey, my like cousin was watching Power Rangers." I was like, "Did they always act like this bad?" I'm like, "No, it's the reasons."
Yeah. So, I mean, see, like the very old Power Rangers, it wasn't like bad acting. It was just awkward. It was just
cheesy.
It was just very cheesy. Like, the good old like GIF where it's the blue and yellow Ranger from Mighty Morphin, and they do like the flips into the to the pose.
Yeah.
So great. Loved it. But yeah, Power Rangers is great. Shout out to Power Rangers. At least
Power Rangers for inspiration.
Yeah, I'll for sure.
I don't know. You mentioned Naruto. I mean, Naruto is all about like acceptance, right? I mean, not all about acceptance, but like that's what Naruto just wants to be accepted by the rest of the village.
Yeah, he was like he was an outsider, and people saw him as like a monster because they knew that he had the Nine Tails.
And you were judging him just because of the one thing.
Just because of that one factor, yeah.
He was a little kid.
Yeah.
He didn't know, like, God.
Yeah. But then he like, he triumphed, and like, dude, like when he defeats Pain, and then everyone is just tossing him into the air. Like, tell me you didn't get emotional. Tell me you didn't get emotional about that. Like literally.
I give a lot of crap to Naruto in the later arcs, especially after the Kage Summit. But the Pain stuff. Oh yeah. Oh
like God. For character stuff, that was definitely like his peak. Was with Pain, and like when he finds out that Jiraiya died, and like. He had to learn how to, the way of the sage arts and stuff like that. That, like, oh god, like so good. Like I know it wouldn't have made any sense, but if Naruto ended literally with that episode where he's being tossed into the air,
yeah, a lot of people say that.
I would have been like, cool.
Like if Pain ended up being the actual leader of Akatsuki, like he probably should have been instead of this weird thing.
Yeah. Which, fun fact, I don't know if you know this, but in the English dub, he's voiced by Troy Baker.
Oh, that Pain is?
Yeah.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Shout out to Naruto.
I'm trying to think of other things that like I've seen with like the signs at the protest and like.
And see, like that's kind of like why I kind of want to watch One Piece, because I feel like One Piece and Naruto are just like two sides of the same coin, where like I know that investing in Naruto, even if you skip the filler, like is worth it. And if people feel the same way about One Piece, I'm like, I should give One Piece a shot.
It gets a little harder in Naruto. I think it gets a little harder because, well, especially in the last few arcs of Shippuden when it gets to the war, because the filler is kind of interspersed with the stuff that isn't filler, and it gets a little harder to avoid it.
That's fair. But yeah, so shout out to Naruto, shout out to Power Rangers, shout out to Final Fantasy, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like oh my god, like I got so many notifications on my phone for people streaming at the same time. I'm just trying to think of like the stuff that like the other stuff people can like help you. Like obviously you can't use this stuff. Don't try to like be like, oh, this is just like when this happened, like with everything, because it's not a one-to-one. Obviously the things were inspired by stuff that happened in history, not the other way around.
Yeah, definitely.
So like people using like One Piece or Power Rangers or various JRPGs, or I wish I had other examples, but they're just going right over my head right now. Yeah,
it's really hard when you like you'll think about it like out of nowhere. Just you're not even thinking about anything. It's just like, oh yeah, that. But then when you're actually like supposed to be thinking about something, you just draw a blank. You just can't think of anything.
I mean, I guess people are using Star Wars as an example as well.
Yeah,
but that's not really it.
Yeah, but
I can't think of like a lot of Japanese specific stuff like very specifically, but yeah, like a handful of JRPGs deal with like similar stuff. Final Fantasy 14, apparently certain parts of the story in the later and the expansions deal with similar situations and are actually apparently written really well.
Yeah, apparently like Final Fantasy 14 Stormbringers is like top tier Final Fantasy. Like it like as its own thing, like you could consider it like the best Final Fantasy. I have like heard that from numerous people. So like because I'm also like in the end base game stuff for Final Fantasy 14, and I don't remember what level my black mage is because I play a black mage, but like I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Is like I just want to get to Heavensward, but the thing is that if I play Final Fantasy 14, I want to only play Final Fantasy 14. So I'm trying to find a time, like sometime this year.
Wait,
where
so how far are you in 14 at the moment?
I'm at the end. I'm at the post base game.
Right.
Like, yeah, that stuff. So I'm hoping that there'll be sometime later this year where there's like really no games coming out, where I can, or like nothing super significant where it'll completely like slow me down, where I can just play the shit out of Final Fantasy 14 because with having to pay for subscriptions, I don't want to pay subscriptions if I'm not going to be playing. So
yeah, I get what you mean. Like before my birthday, I actually like didn't renew until my birthday, and then like I don't know if I'm going to renew after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I actually stopped playing for a couple days. But,
yeah. No, I got back
I'm not
into
sure
it.
what I'll do.
I got back into it for a little bit when they did like the free trial, like 8 days or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, the main topic didn't go quite as planned, but I didn't plan it that well, so that's okay.
I mean, we're going like how long is your podcast normally? Because we've been talking for like almost 2.5 hours.
It's 2. We're at about the 2 hour mark, so we usually end it around here.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to. We could always go longer. It's not.
No, yeah, we're good. No, I'm good. Like I feel like we've talked quite a bit.
Yeah. So that was a little different. We our little joke is that we don't really have an outro.
Oh yeah, you just end things.
Just keep playing games, I guess. Whatever. Bye.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep playing games. Stay safe. Donate to various BLM related charities and stuff,
organizations, all that jazz.
Yeah. There are plenty of great streamers that are donating to it, and plenty of podcasts to listen to. Like,
oh yeah.
Like if you're like, I don't know.
just stay safe. Don't do anything stupid.
Yeah. Support other people in these times. That's what's important.
Yep, play games. Have fun. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So, and also, Cameron, you are always welcome back on this podcast. Hopefully, Jason will be here next time.
Yeah, it happens. Things come up, things happen. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you for being on our podcast this week.
Yeah, it was awesome.